Today, I'm down here at Streetsboro Kia in Streetsboro, Ohio. Link in the description. Funny side story. So yesterday, I'm out driving, and I have to go to the bank. So I go to the bank. That's when I saw it. The all-new Kia EV6 in a parking lot. And I was like, there's no way. Because that car doesn't go on sale for a while. So I go for a closer look, and sure enough, it was the all-new Kia EV6. And it had Streetsboro, Ohio advertised all over it. Hence, that's why we're here. Let's talk about the all-new Kia EV6. Let's talk styling. I think Kia absolutely nailed it with this design. To me, it looks like they started with a Veloster and changed the grille and then stretched it a little bit, but it could be just me that sees that. I've watched some other reviews and they say that it's an SUV. I don't think that's what Kia was going for. To me, it looks like a long wheelbase hot hatchback. Moving to the rear, this is honestly my favorite styling bit. It looks a bit like a ducktail to me, and that's what I've been calling it. Just look at all the lines. I love the way the light bar kicks up here. What do you guys think of the new Kia logo? Do you like it? Do you hate it? I've heard a bit of both. Okay, let's talk trim levels. Kia has 5 trim levels on offer for the EV6. The base model is called the Light. It starts at $40,900. It only comes in rear-wheel drive. It comes with a 58 kilowatt-hour battery, 167 horsepower, 258 foot-pounds of torque, 232 miles of range, fast DC charging capabilities, 19-inch wheels, heated front seats, Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, which is great. That will cover everything. That will cover the batteries. I think it might be, aside from Tesla, I think it might be the best warranty that an EV has to offer. This thing's got dual 12.3-inch panoramic displays, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard, wireless charging. It is also a its own Wi-Fi hotspot, dual zone climate control, and this is all on the base model, so it's only going to get better from here. Next trim option is the Wind in the rear-wheel drive format. It starts at $47,000. It comes with a 77.4 kilowatt-hour battery, 225 horsepower, 258 foot-pounds of torque. It's rated for 310 miles. You get a power tailgate, vegan leather seats, heated and ventilated seats, onboard power generator, towing capacity up to 2,300 pounds. Moving on to the next trim, Wind in all-wheel drive, $50,900, 274 miles of range you get out of the same 77.4 kilowatt-hour battery pack. It's a $3,900 upgrade to the regular Wind. You get everything in the regular Wind package. The only thing that you can opt for is you could opt and get the Wind Tech package for $1,500, and that offers surround view monitor, remote start, parking assist, blind view mirror, and parking collision avoidance system. Okay, moving upwind to the GT line. It's offered in rear-wheel drive at $51,200, 310 miles of range. It has a wide power electric sunshine roof, surround view monitor, automatic extending flush door handles that present themselves or protrude outwards as you walk up to the car. The GT line has its own exterior and interior embellishments. Okay, moving to the tippy top, the GT line with the all-wheel drive. It starts at $55,900. You get everything the GT line rear-wheel drive has to offer, except this one has all-wheel drive, so the mileage actually goes down a little bit, costs a little bit more. You get a heat pump. This one's the only one that rides on 20-inch rims, standard, heated steering wheel. Okay, that was a lot of information to go over, so let's break it down and give you some highlights and takeaways from all that. Notice the base model to the top of the line model is only $15,000 spread. I mentioned fast DC charging. What does that mean? The EV6 can handle up to between 400 and 800 volts of DC. When using DC chargers, you can expect to get 218 miles of range in 18 minutes, which is incredible. The battery technology and the charging technology have come a long way. So you could essentially go eat dinner or whatever, go shopping, eat dinner, whatever you want to do, plug it in. 18 minutes later, you come back. As long as you're using one of those high voltage DC chargers, 18 minutes will give you 218 miles of range. Okay, I want to talk about Kia's surround view camera. It is a sick feature. It's basically Kia's 360-degree angle camera, but way better than any 360-degree camera that I've ever seen. Basically, you could choose whatever, there's cameras all around the car, just like on a Tesla, and you could choose whatever camera you want to see out of. Or you could go top down, almost like third person, and see everything around you. If you're parked next to a row of cars, you can see every single car that you're parked next to. Not like a blob on the screen, the actual car. It's crazy. Okay, let's talk about the power generator. Super cool feature. It's available on all trim models from the wind and up. So essentially, if you get the light, you can't get this feature. The feature can power appliances with using your Kia EV6 to power it. So say you're out camping somewhere and you want to put a projection screen up, you can run the projector itself from the Kia EV6. It's also worth mentioning that if you're in a desolated area, you want to keep an eye on your battery life of the car. You don't want to completely drain the battery of the car so you can't leave that area. Just something to think about. Okay, one more feature I want to touch upon before we move on to the actual car, the blind spot view mirror. There are cameras mounted underneath the side mirrors. This feature isn't new by any stretch of the imagination. It's actually found on a lot of Kia/Hyundai products, and I believe Honda was the first one to pioneer this technology, but it's become a Kia/Hyundai exclusive feature. No other car company offers it, and I think that that is a huge mistake, because when you turn your turn signal on, you can see what is in your blind spot. So if there is a car there, it will appear on your heads-up display. So you could actually see the car there and you don't turn into it. It's a huge safety feature. I will note that it doesn't work with the four-ways. I thought if you put the four-ways on, you could see both of the cameras. It doesn't do that. Maybe they'll do it with a software update. Who knows? I don't know if you can see, but on the screen, this is all has little slashes the whole way around the wheel well. It's very unique. It's very different. I don't think there's any other car on the road that has little slashes going around the wheel well. The lights are really cool. Got these nice halos on top and the bottom. LED running lights are standard. Just check out these rims. They're painted here. This is a solid surface, but there are holes like here and here, but most of it's just paint. So that's interesting. I love this bit up here. It looks very cool. It's almost like a spoiler. And you got your antenna up here. It's almost like a shark fin. But just notice how this back design is designed, how this comes up like almost like a ducktail. And that's kind of what I've been calling it, is the ducktail rear end. Okay, getting in the rear. Just notice how much space you actually have back here. It's a pretty nice interior overall. Hey, this is me sitting in the back of the Kia EV6. I got lots of headroom. There's more headroom in this than I would say the Mustang Mach-E. I just did that vehicle. These seats also, these seats recline in the back, so it makes it better. There is way more leg room in here than the Mustang Mach-E. Way more. That way more is like an understatement. But just check this out. So that's how much leg room I have. Even if I scoot over to the seat that I would be sitting in the driver's seat, way more leg room than the Mustang Mach-E. Just check out these seat headrests. I didn't notice it until I got back here, how these are. That is a really interesting seat design. Notice the vents in the sides here. You have one here and one over there for your both passengers. There's nothing in the center console. I think it's actually nicer over here because it actually blows directly onto you, whereas the center console just more or less blows right onto your feet. But that's just an opinion. Also, check this out. You got USB-C power ports in the back of the seats. We saw this feature in the Grand Wagoneer as well, but that's an $80,000 car. This is half of that price, and this doesn't take a drop of gasoline or oil. So just check that out. Got really nice pockets in the back of the seats on both seats, mat pockets. There's storage cubby, not a very big storage cubby, but there's still a storage cubby there. This is a nice padded armrest for you to lay your arm on. LED lights up here, still has the plastic wrapping on it. There is the button for it. Here's a better view of the recline position. This is as reclined as it will go, and that is as upright as it would go. So it does recline quite a bit back here. Now, getting inside the EV6, take a look around. This interior, it is nice. Perfect? No, but it's nice. Especially if you take into consideration what Kia was making 10 years ago. This is leaps and bounds far better than what they were producing 10, 15 years ago. Just check out this console situation. I personally like the design. I like the fact that Kia was very innovative with this design, and it doesn't look like anything else out of any other car, and I give them credit for it. But access to the bottom is limited, and it's hard to get to the plugs down there because the console's in the way. Up here there are 5 buttons. These are for your, this is ventilated seat for the driver, heated seat driver, heated steering wheel, heated passenger seat, ventilated. Notice the drive selector is a knob similar to the things that Ford's doing right now. A little different though. You have reverse, neutral, drive. It's so hard to see it on here because it's a reflective surface and it's kind of bright outside today. There is a park in the middle here, so that makes it a little bit easier. You don't have to go select park. This is your on-off switch. Just to the rear of the drive control knob is where the wireless charger is. To the right of that is 2 cup holders, decent sized center console. When you turn the EV6 on, it makes a little bit of sound as to let you know that the car is on. Almost like a turnover sound, but not quite. Coming over here to the center screen, navigation, it's all touch oriented. This is what your home screen looks like with various different buttons and functions. We're not going to get into every single one, but you can see what that does. There's different sounds that you could have piping through the speaker system as sort of like white noise. Right now there's sounds of nature, rainy day. Here's some of the different sounds that you could play. So there's the loop. The cool thing about this screen is you could control it from the screen, or you actually have buttons down here for your climate settings. There's dual climate control in this car. These all tell you what you could do. This one sets the driver's side climate, and notice when I turn the knob, it changes it in the screen as well. This one's for the passenger side. The driver's side doesn't tell you over here what the temperature is. The temperature's all the way over here, what setting you have it on. When you push the arrow button or the fan button, it reveals more options to choose from. Here's your vanity mirrors. There's an actual light up here that you have to switch on and off if you want. Sometimes the light's triggered by this, but it's not. You have map lights up here. LED, of course. Nice vanity mirror for the passenger. Okay, moving to the back. The trunk storage space is 28 cubic feet with the seats up. If you fold the seats down, it allows for 54 cubic feet of storage space. Worth mentioning, there are two ways for the seats to fold flat. The first way is there is a lever on the left and the right side in the trunk. If you want the right seat to go down, you pull the right lever. If you want the left seat to go down, you pull the left lever. Pull the levers and the seats fold completely flat. The second way is the adjustment lever on the side for the reclining seat position. You pull that, the seat drops. When the seats are dropped, they are locked. You can't push them up to the upright position. You actually have to pull the recline seat lever and put the seat where you want it. Okay, while we're back here in the trunk, let's show you some cool features. You got 12-volt power port there. There are 4 tie-down points back here in the trunk section. There's one there, there's one there, there's 2 more on that side. You also have a storage place underneath here. There's a tire mobility kit inside here. This is your charger. This also goes all the way back, so you could slide this panel out. I'm not going to, but there's storage all the way up in there. There's even storage over in here, and there's storage over in here. Little cubby holes, which is pretty cool. What about up front? Well, funny you should mention that. The inverter is up front. This one does not have a front trunk or a frunk, which is weird to me because every EV that I've seen, minus the new Subaru that's coming out, has a front trunk. This is what the key looks like to the EV6. Notice there's only one button on the face of the fob, and that is to automatically start the car. All the other buttons are located on the side. First button at the top is the lock button, unlock, hold to release the trunk, the panic button. It's just very cool. It's so cool that they put it on the side. Driving the EV6, this is what it looks like outside. This is what the dashboard looks like when you're driving. Just like all the other electric cars, it's very smooth. I'm gonna get used to the regenerative braking because they're all different before I get on it a little bit. Yeah. So you can see the speed we're going over there. I'm just gonna give it a little bit of juice. And the sound that they pipe through the speakers isn't a V8 sound like in the Mustang. It just sounds like an electric sound, like what it should sound like. And evidently you can change it to make it sound anything that you want it to sound like. Different electric noises, not V8 sounds. I think that's tacky because the car's never going to sound like that. Look at us go! Look, it's just building up speed. Oh man, this is awesome. Okay, we put it in sport mode. The drive mode selector is down here at the bottom of the steering wheel. I'm going 36 miles an hour and we're gonna give it some juice. It really puts you back in the seat, just like a Tesla. So I want to give you my final thoughts on the Kia EV6. This is an absolute awesome contender in the electric car market. It is probably, in my opinion, it is the best electric car that you could buy that's not a Tesla. Now, I haven't driven the Taycan Turbo S yet. That's a super expensive car. But for the money, I haven't driven the new Subaru either. But for the money, this is probably the best car that's electric that you could get that's not a Tesla. Is this car perfect? No, but it's very, very close to being perfect. There's a couple drawbacks, which I'll talk about. I don't like how you have to pull up on the lever for the lumbar support in the back to get the seat to go up. And there's no front trunk space. If those two problems were fixed in a matter of years, this car would be perfect. Yeah, so I actually just got into telling you about the car because I was really impressed by it. It really left an impression on me. And I didn't get to tell you about the driving part of it. The driving part of it, it handled like any electric car does. All the weight is in the floorboard because that's where all the batteries are and that's where the weight is. So it handled really nice. There wasn't that much noise in terms of like outside noise. It was very dampered, like it was very insulated ride, I should say. The sounds that are coming through, the thing that I love most about the Kia EV6 is it doesn't pretend to be something it's not. There are no V8 sounds. There's electric noises, and some people might find that tacky. I find the V8 noises piped into a car as very tacky. I wasn't going to do this, but I am going to do it. I'm going to compare this to the Mustang Mach-E right now and give you my thought comparison breakdown between this and the Mustang Mach-E. If you guys like this segment going forward, we'll compare all the EVs to one another because they're all in the same playing field. This is mostly a classic car channel. I can't compare a 39 Packard to a 67 Corvette. They're two totally different cars. The Packard has like curtains in it sometimes. The Corvette doesn't. So you can't really compare those two cars, but you can compare all the EVs with one another. So if you like this segment, put it down in the comment section below. Okay, the way we're going to do this to cut down on time, we're going to take the two base models, like so for the EV6, the base model is the Light, and we're going to compare it to the Mustang Mach-E Select. And then we're going to take the top trim levels and compare them. And then you guys could draw your own conclusions to whatever car that you like better. I'm going to give you all the information and you guys can decide. And once again, this is like on paper. You're not going to know unless you get behind the wheel of one of them. I'm just presenting the information to you. But for you to get a true grasp on what the vehicle is like, because everybody's different, you got to go try it out for yourself. You got to try it on. So the EV Light is the base EV6 model. It starts at $40,900. Compare that with the Mach-E Select that starts at $43,895. The EV6 has a 58 kilowatt-hour battery pack at 232 miles it's rated for. The Mach-E, we'll get to it. Their interface sucks. If you ever tried to order one of them, it's like you just want to pull your hair out. It's almost like Ford doesn't even want to sell the Mach-E. It's so confusing. There's no prices next to anything. If you want all-wheel drive, you have to guess what all-wheel drive is going to cost. I'm not going to complain anymore. We're just going to keep going. So for the $43,895, you get 247 miles for a charge, which isn't really that much better. Is it $3,000 better than the EV6? You have to ask yourself that. There's no frunk in the EV6. The Mustang Mach-E has a frunk, and it also has a drain plug, which is really cool because then you could go tailgating and drain all the ice out afterwards. The EV6 has fast charging. The Mach-E claims to have the best charging network in the US. The back seats don't recline on the Mach-E, but they are easier to put up. Putting the seats up on the EV6 kind of sucks in the back. It's really hard. You have to push up on the handle as well as the seat. And we already talked about the terrible internet interface. If you don't believe me, after you're done watching this, go and try to order a Mustang Mach-E and see what your experience is like. And then come back and comment in the comment section. Okay, let's talk about the top trim levels of both. The EV6 GT line with the all-wheel drive versus the Mach-E GT Performance. The EV6 starts at $55,900. The Mach-E GT, $67,995. The EV6 has 274 miles on tap versus the Mach-E GT's 260 miles. They are both claiming a 0 to 60 time of 3.5 seconds. And just look at the horsepower number on the EV6. There isn't one out there yet in the wild as of recording this video, so that number might be a little bit speculation. 576 horsepower versus 480 horsepower on the Mach-E GT. And the Mach-E GT is quite a bit more expensive, $13,000 plus, more than $13,000 over the EV6. So at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Is $13,000 for top spec? They do make a GT that isn't top spec, but you won't get 3.5 seconds out of it. You'll get 3.8, and it's $6,000 cheaper, but it's still more expensive than the EV6, and the EV6 has a better warranty. So I'll leave it up to you for you to decide. You decide which one you think is better. Put it in the comment section below. Which one do you think is better? Till next time, toodaloo!